Hello, this is Addie D. Hilster, and I'm here today recording a guided meditation for you at Spiral Path Yoga Center. And this is a meditation for a busy mind. So I've heard from many people over the years who are intimidated to try meditation because there's this concept that we need to clear our thoughts or have a calm mind in order to benefit from the practice or even do the practice of meditation. And this is not the case. Even those of us who've been practicing meditation for years, we still have many moments and many days where the mind is really active. So we learn to work with that in our meditation practice, and over time, this really is beneficial to do. Meditation is not clearing the thoughts, it's really learning to be with whatever it is that's arising in the moment. So we learn to sometimes let the thoughts be and let them be there running in the background doing what they do. The mind thinks, that's what the mind does. And we also at times use our mindfulness to observe the thinking. So we can work with it in those two ways, letting it be, and other times observing and noticing the patterns of mind. So this can be very informative and leads us to a lot of insights in our practice. Over time, through that observation, we even become less identified with our thoughts and less likely to believe everything we hear ourselves thinking, which is good. Our thoughts are really only problems if we have that unquestioning belief in everything that we hear internally. One time I was sitting in meditation and I was seeing a lot of different thoughts kind of come through, and they were kind of skipping from topic randomly, just this and that and the other. And I started to chuckle because it was a little bit like watching TV and seeing different ads come up on the screen. It's like, buy this Buick, no, get this 401k, no, here's a cheeseburger. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is what my mind is doing. It's offering up different ideas of what I should be doing or being or saying or moving towards in that particular moment. So if you want to take this analogy a little further, imagine if you clicked on every pop-up ad you saw on your computer, or you called every 1-800 number for every ad that you saw on TV. This would be a disaster, right? So we learn to treat the thinking and the mind the same way in our meditation. We learn to let the thoughts pass by, sometimes in the background to just be there, and other times to observe, especially when we see patterns starting to arise. Okay, so that's the introduction. Let's give this a try and do a little practice together. So make sure that you're sitting in a way that's comfortable and that isn't going to give you more mental agitation. So if the body is really struggling, that's going to kick up more thinking in the mind. So you could be sitting in a chair, you could be sitting with more cushioning, more height underneath you if you're on the floor, or finding whatever works. Even laying down is fine too. You're not likely to fall asleep if you have a restless mind right now. So I'll ring this bell to start and finish the meditation, and let's see how this goes. Settling into the seated posture as the sound of the bell fades. You can sit with your eyes closed or softly open, just gazing ahead without a particular focus. Whether the eyes are open or closed, let the eyes relax. Tension in the eyes is often connected to busy mind. Sometimes just letting go a little bit of that tension around the eyes, it helps to soften our grasp on the thoughts that are passing through as well. Softening the eyes, take a long exhale. Slow out breaths a few times. Take your attention downward in the body, sensing and feeling the places where you're touching your chair, your cushion, where your pelvis is supported, and finding those sensations of support, of grounding, of steadiness. Feeling the feet or the legs touching the floor. These sensations are happening right now in this present moment. Simple touch, support, and ground. This is available here to steady us. These sensations of grounding, these touch points, could be your home base for this meditation. Or you could use the flow of breath as your home base. Simply finding a place in the body where you can easily sense the movement of breath. Not so much making the breath happen, but just feeling each time that it flows in and it expands the body and opens the body a little bit. Feeling each time that it flows out and there's that feeling of release, of letting go. Take a few moments to really familiarize your mind with these touch points or this flow of breath, whichever you prefer as your home base today. Meanwhile, thoughts might be running in the background, and that's okay. We're simply choosing to be more interested in our home base. That's the foreground of attention right now. The breathing or the touch points. Sometimes the thinking becomes stronger or louder than the home base, and you can notice this. And then maybe soften the eyes again. Take a long exhale. And settle back into your touch points or your breath. And notice the general activity level that's present in the mind right now, beginning to observe the mind. Perhaps it's a restless mind, darting around like it's changing the channels on the TV. Or sometimes a busy mind is a mind that's stuck on one topic that it seems to chew on and have a difficult time letting go of. Or perhaps as you've settled into your home base a few times, you started to slow down and develop a little relative quiet and calm, a little taste of that. So whatever you're observing is the activity level in the mind right now, that's just fine. This is how it is right now. Our mindfulness is big enough to hold all of these different states. Coming home to touch points or breath with a sense of relaxing back into that home base, softening the eyes, slowly breathing out. Finding ground in the present moment. We can get interested in the particular flavor of thinking when thinking is present, using the technique of labeling or noting to acknowledge what we're observing. So you can simply note thinking, or if thinking is taking a particular shape, you can name that, such as planning. Busy mind loves to plan. Or judging. Judging often comes up as we try to work with the habits of mind. Another common one is wanting something different than what's here right now. So we can include that too, mindful of wanting mind. Once you've named the thinking, the pattern, you can perhaps settle back to home base for a little while. Resting, grounding, being. Sometimes we notice repeated patterns, lots of the same type of thought. What advertisement is your mind offering you right now? Sometimes when we find a repeated pattern, like lots of planning mind, for example, we can look beneath and see if there's an emotion there that's churning up these kinds of thoughts. Some anxiety or worry. Or different kind of thought could be produced by a mood of sadness or loneliness. So there's a relationship between our thinking and our feeling. We can make space for feeling, bringing our mindfulness to embrace what's here, and notice how this affects the patterns of thought. Home base is always available, coming back to touch points in the body, feeling the ground, coming back to the simple flow of breath. This is our connection to the present moment. As we're coming towards the end of this sitting practice, bring your attention to that home base again. Take a little time to ground there. Beginning to just allow whatever thoughts and feelings are here to pass, to run their course in the background, while you place your attention with your home base. Finding steadiness in the body and the breath. thank you very much for your presence and your practice today.